Good morning. It's Thursday, March 26th. I'm Mariam Bosilevets. The Inuvialuit Regional Corporation says it has paused the intake for its home repair program. The program offers home repairs to beneficiaries aged 50 and older. The corporation says a shortage of skilled labor has made tackling a backlog of requests difficult. It says funding constraints also contributed to the decision to pause intake to the program. The IRC says it's advocating for federal funding to resume intake. The Yukon's energy minister says the territory is going to need more than $1 billion for critical remediation work to its electricity grid for increased generation capacity and to support Arctic sovereignty. Ted Laking says the need is urgent after frigid temperatures in December almost led to blackouts in Whitehorse.
Past December, we were already in a scenario where we were starting to discuss having to put the city of Whitehorse into rolling blackouts. So we don't have time to sit around and hypothesize about these things. It's no longer theoretical. It's a real and serious risk for the North.
Representatives in all three territories say they need billions of dollars to fix and expand isolated and aging electricity infrastructure across the North. They say the small population in the North means there's no way for ratepayers to cover the cost without help from Ottawa. The Dene Nation says historic RCMP surveillance of Indigenous rights and activists is an infringement on civil liberties. A CBC investigation found widespread police surveillance of Indigenous leaders and organizations from 1968 to 1982. That included George Erasmus, the former president of the Dene Nation. Current Dene National Chief George Mackenzie says RCMP surveillance has been a tool of colonial control and undermines Indigenous sovereignty and self-determination. The commander of the Canadian Army has told a defense industry conference that the forces will be forging ahead with purchases and investments. But Lieutenant General Michael Wright says the armed forces are pursuing nearly 50 major capital projects, including providing better weapons, long-range precision strike systems, and a more lethal ground-based air defense system.
Definitely wouldn't refer to it as a spending spree. Ultimately, we have to ensure that we are being responsible stewards of resources, and I can tell you that every dollar that's being spent by the Canadian Army is going to make sure that our soldiers are ready.
Speaking in Calgary, Wright also said a key component of the modernization includes the North and operations in remote regions, as well as building on the capabilities of the Canadian Rangers. Canada has committed to increasing defense spending to 2% of GDP this fiscal year, rising to 5% by 2035. And after nearly 23 years of commercial operations, a truck made the last ore delivery at Diavik Diamond Mine this week. Since it began production in 2003, Rio Tinto, which owns and operates the mine, says it's produced 150 million carats of rough diamonds. Upcoming work to close the mine will include demolition of the structures on site. Sean Sinclair, closure manager at the mine, said they expect it to take place over 2 years. For more on the closure and legacy of the mine, visit CabinRadio.ca. Your weather forecast for today: Yellowknife -13 with a chance of flurries, Inuvik -12 with a mix of sun and cloud, Norman Wells -14 and sunny, Hay River -12 and sunny, Fort Smith -13 with a chance of flurries, and Fort Simpson -8 today and sunny.